Imagine being told that your future is bright, only to step into adulthood and realize that every door seems closed. That is the reality for millions of young South Africans today. They grew up hearing about the Rainbow Nation, the promises of democracy, and the hope of opportunity. Yet many feel stuck, disconnected, and defeated. The question is, why are young South Africans giving up? And what does this reveal about the widening generational gap? When South Africa entered democracy in 1994, there was a strong sense of hope. For the older generation who fought against apartheid, freedom meant access to opportunity, dignity, and upward mobility. They believed that the younger generation would live better lives. Fast forward to today, many young people feel that promise has not been kept. While their parents and grandparents may still view democracy as a victory in itself, young South Africans are asking, victory for who? For them, political freedom without economic opportunity feels incomplete. This is the root of the generational gap. The older generation tends to focus on how far the country has come, while the youth focus on how far the country still has to go. One of the biggest reasons young South Africans are giving up is unemployment. The country has one of the highest youth unemployment rates in the world. Imagine finishing school, sometimes even university, and still not finding a job for years. This does not just create financial stress. It eats away at a person's dignity, identity, and sense of purpose. Many young people start to feel useless in a society that measures success through work. Some end up giving up on job hunting entirely because rejection after rejection can crush motivation. For the older generation, hard work was often rewarded, even if slowly. For the youth today, hard work often leads to nowhere. That mismatch between effort and reward deepens the feeling of hopelessness. Another piece of the puzzle is education. Many young people are told to stay in school, get good marks, and everything will work out. But the reality is more complicated. South Africa's education system is deeply unequal. A child in a wealthy suburb may go to a well-resourced school, while a child in a rural area may study under a tree or in a classroom without enough books. Even those who make it through university discover that degrees do not guarantee employment. The link between education and jobs is broken. This gap between expectation and reality fuels frustration. Young people are starting to see education less as a ladder out of poverty and more as a heavy debt with uncertain returns. Politics also plays a huge role in this story. For the older generation, political parties that fought apartheid still hold emotional weight. But for many young South Africans, those same parties represent broken promises, corruption, and self-interest. Youth voter turnout has dropped dramatically. Many simply do not see the point of voting when leaders seem disconnected from their struggles. Some young people believe that politicians only show up during election season, promising jobs, bursaries, and opportunities that never come. This lack of trust is not just about politics. It seeps into institutions, from government to business. Once trust is lost, rebuilding it becomes very difficult. All of this takes a toll on mental health. Hopelessness, depression, and anxiety are on the rise among the youth. Many feel pressure to succeed while being stuck in a system that seems stacked against them. This can lead to destructive coping mechanisms. Some turn to substances. Others disconnect completely, retreating from social and community life. The phrase giving up is not just about unemployment or politics. It is about losing the energy to fight for a better future. So why does the generational gap feel wider now than ever before? It is because the two groups are looking at the same country through very different lenses. For the older generation, every step forward feels significant because they compare it to the struggles of the past. They remember what it was like to live with no rights and no freedom. For the younger generation, those memories are history lessons. Their daily reality is unemployment, inequality, and corruption. They are less interested in celebrating freedom and more interested in demanding opportunity. This creates a clash of perspectives. When young people express anger or hopelessness, older people sometimes see it as ungratefulness. In return, the youth see the older generation as out of touch. The big question is, how do we bridge this gap? There are no easy solutions, but some steps are clear. First, Youth need to be included in decision-making, not just as voters, but as leaders, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. They need platforms to shape the future, not just inherit it. Second, education must connect to real opportunities. Skills training, apprenticeships, and entrepreneurship support are crucial. Telling young people to study without fixing the job market is unfair. Third, trust must be rebuilt. Political leaders and institutions need to show real accountability, not just during election season, but every day. Trust is earned through action, not words. Finally, mental health support must be prioritized. A generation under pressure needs spaces to heal, to find hope, and to rediscover purpose. The generational gap in South Africa is not just about age. It is about perspective, lived experience, and expectations. Young South Africans are not giving up because they are lazy or entitled. They are giving up because the system around them keeps shutting doors. But giving up does not have to be the end of the story. By listening, by bridging perspectives, and by creating real opportunities, the nation can turn despair into determination. Because at the end of the day, South Africa cannot afford to lose its youth. The future depends on them, and they depend on a future that works.